When was the last time that you was excited about speaker stands? It's possibly been a while, but maybe today's the day. I've been using these speaker stands since I started Pursuit of Perfect System for about the last 2.5 years, and I've had some really very good speakers on these speaker stands, sounding really very good. If I had one complaint about these speaker stands, it would be this. You see how much movement there is in that? So obviously I'm treading on the speaker stand, and that's the reason I'm wearing socks and not shoes, obviously, for this video. So you can see there's quite a bit of movement there. And these are the Atacama Apollo Cyclone 6 speaker stands, and I think these cost about 100 or 110 pounds. Now if I move the same speaker onto this speaker stand, which features dual columns or tubes or uprights, and tread on it, you can see that there is hardly any movement there at all. Quickly go back to the single upright speaker stand or single column or tube. You can see how much movement there is. Soon I'm going to be embarking on another stand mount speaker group mega test, and this time it's going to be looking at speakers at quite a broad price range, actually, from about £800 up to about £2,000. So you can imagine in that price range there is a real big diversity of size of speaker and weight of speaker. But I wasn't sure what speaker stands to get. I wasn't sure what height. I wasn't sure what materials. I wasn't sure whether I should be looking at something like this or maybe something like this. So I decided to reach out and speak to Atacama and ask them to recommend to me the best speaker stand for the job. Atacama's best-selling speaker stands over the last decade or more have been their NeXXus. Atacama have just redesigned or redeveloped the NeXXus speaker stand. For this is the new one, and very interestingly, it's called NeXXus, but NeXXus with a double X. Naturally, there's been some changes, some improvements, and other things with the new NeXXus double X NeXXus. And it's the add-ons or the additional things that make this speaker stand range quite interesting to me. There are going to be 4 different sizes of top plates available. Naturally, you buy the top plate to match the size of your speakers. But what's cool about this range of NeXXus is that the included top plate, which is a smaller one, doesn't get wasted. It doesn't go in a drawer or somewhere collecting dust. You can bolt it to the base of the speaker stands to add more mass to them. And I really like that because, yeah, it's adding more mass for additional benefit, but it just means that we're not wasting something. We're making more of something that we already own. And then there will be different tubes or different column or upright lengths that you can buy. But when we're talking about the columns and the uprights, this is where Atacama have been, I think, a little bit smarter or made the NeXXus to be that little bit smarter. So these columns, these uprights or tubes are about 50 millimeters in diameter. And this is what you'll get 2 of these with the Essential range. But Atacama are also going to be selling tubes or uprights that are larger. One that is about 76 millimeters in diameter, and that means that the NeXXus will be sold in different sets. So you have the Essential here, which is 2 50 millimeter uprights or tubes. Then there will be the NeXXus HiFi, which will be 150 millimeter, 176 millimeter, and there will be the NeXXus Pro, which will be 2 76 millimeter uprights. The Essential version with the 250 millimeters is still quite sizable in terms of being able to add mass to the speaker stands, and that is what this really is all about. That is what the thicker tubes is all about, adding mass. And I can give you a really good example of why adding mass to a speaker stand is a really good idea. So these are both 2 identical NeXXus Essential speaker stands. If I tread them down into the carpet, again, this is why I'm wearing just socks and no shoes. So they're both the same, both identical, both got the spikes, screwed up tight so that they're not leveled at all. This speaker stand, this NeXXus, is full of Atacama Atabites. You can see down here, and this is hollow. There's no filler in it at all. So naturally, this has much more mass than this one. And if you look at the difference in the movement, I'm not really pushing either of these very hard, but you can see the extra mass of this speaker stand has just gripped it too. I'll do it again just to show there's nothing going on here in terms of trickery or anything. You can just see that the speaker stand with much more mass in it naturally moves a hell of a lot less. And what's really interesting is I think the difference between the Apollo Cyclone 6 speaker stands that I've been using, even though this column or upright or tube is full of Atabites, the mass of the NeXXus speaker stand is already greater than the Cyclone 6 speaker stands with no filler on at all. So this already has more mass to it, but the difference in mass between being hollow and being full really is quite dramatic. But there's a little bit more to discuss here. I think it's really quite interesting because we all know as audiophiles that ideally we need our speaker stands full of something so they don't ring. So I'll give you a great example of this. So this one's with both columns being full. I can tap it and you can hear there's absolutely no ringing in that speaker stand at all. As I do the same thing with the hollow speaker stand, you can naturally hear that there is ringing there. And that's going to be the same for all speaker stands. It's just nature of the beast of something being hollow and something being full. So different audiophiles use different materials to stop that ringing. And a common one obviously is dry kiln sand. That's a very common one. I think some audiophiles have even said they use kitty litter, and I've never had cats, so I don't understand the idea of kitty litter. To me, you just use sand, or maybe you use Atacama Atabites. And if you look at Atacama Atabites, they are kind of thin, slim, circular discs that are made predominantly of steel, but there are other metals in their makeup as well. And why might you use Atacama Atabites over sand? Well, according to the data that's on Atacama's website, 1 litre of beach sand will weigh about 1.5 kilograms, where 1 litre of Atabites weighs about 4.5 kilograms. So you can see that Atabites has more mass for the same volume compared to sand. So when we think about a set of speaker stands, we only have a fixed amount of volume that we can fill. It makes Atacama Atabites a better product or a more suitable product for adding mass to the speaker stands as opposed to sand. But obviously sand, maybe even kitty litter, obviously still works in terms of reducing ringing within the stands, but this just adds more mass. So just to quickly go through a couple of the other improvements with the new NeXXus speaker stands compared to the old NeXXus speaker stands. But before we do, I just want to quickly run through the price. The new NeXXus Essential speaker stands, these are going to cost you £119.99, or maybe £120 minus a penny. The Apollo Cyclone 6, as I mentioned, they cost maybe £100 or £110. And I'm pretty sure the original NeXXus cost about £110. So there's only a £10 difference between the original or the old NeXXus and the new NeXXus. And yet there are significant improvements, which I'll quickly explain to you. So our uprights, our tubes, our columns, they are thicker and therefore they will hold more mass. The base plates, for starters, they are laser cut. So it's a much nicer looking product, a much nicer and better quality finish. And it's a much thicker material. So there's already, as I say, quite a lot of mass in the speaker stands already. The fact we can bolt, the existing top plate to the bottom of the base and use a bigger top plate is a definitive advantage. Flexibility and suitability that goes with it as well. And all of that benefit for really the same price as what the old model cost maybe 10 or more years ago. Just let that sink in for a minute. But then we do have to factor in, I suppose, the additional costs of different things. So the top plates will cost, there's 4 sizes and 3 out of the 4 sizes cost $29.99. That'll be obviously for 2, so for your speakers. And then a tub of Atacama Atabites will cost £29.99. And I've used about 1.5 tubs to fill pretty much to the very top 1 speaker stand. So Atacama sent me 2 tubs of Atabites. They obviously thought that would be the correct amount, but I've actually gone, a bit crazy, filled them up. So I probably will need 3 tubs of Atabites. So a £120 speaker stand plus 3 tubs of Atabites plus a larger top plate. Naturally, that has doubled the cost. We're now into the 200 odd pounds. But even at 200 odd pounds, this is still really great value for money speaker stands. I decided to make this video because I know through the group test I'm going to get asked the question a lot, what speaker stands are you using and why? And I've created this video now and produced it now so that I can point anybody who asks that question to this video and they can look at why I'm using these speaker stands and what I think about them and why I think they're actually really, really excellent and excellent value for money. I think they've created a better quality speaker stand here with the new NeXXus XX than the original NeXXus, and definitely a better quality speaker stand than the Apollo Cyclone 6. You may still prefer the oak. That might visually work better in your listening room, and these are still fine. It's definitely still fine, still very good speaker stands. I think the potential performance of these is that much higher with the flexibility, with the ability to be more suited to more audiophiles, for more speakers, in more situations, for pretty much the exact same price as a product that was out a decade ago. I think that deserves, you know, some praise, and that's part of the reason why I've made the video as well. You know, I've never really given too much thought to the importance of speaker stands before, but as you know, things were explained to me, as I've started to think about it, you know, the benefits of mass and, you know, the difference in the movement, which is, you know, it's massive. You know, it's massive, the difference in the movement. It started to make me think about it, and it started to make me think that speaker stands are a bit of an unsung hero of a hi-fi system, which is why I've got the Sonettos, the Sonos Faber Sonettos on the floor, because if we didn't have speaker stands, think what we would have to use to put our speakers, or maybe we would have to lay on the floor to listen. I'm really not sure. So I think the speaker stand is a bit of an unsung hero of a hi-fi system that we very rarely, you know, think about or get excited about, but it performs a really pivotal and important role. Yeah, and I really think these NeXXuses are good. It really is unbelievable when you consider, yeah, that's pretty heavy already, but wow, filled with Atabites. That's a serious bit of kit. That's a serious bit of kit for a couple of £100. And yeah, I'm really impressed by that. So I hope the video has been helpful and useful, maybe inspiring in some way as well. Thanks for watching. Looking forward to doing this group test. It's coming soon. Before the group test, it's going to be a review for the Bowers & Wilkins 705 signatures, if that's of interest. And I'll see you then. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye. Bye.